We start with a color wash. So my paint is kind of thin, relatively transparent. I'm just going to fill in all of the jeans that I have drawn with blue. And you can see me moving the bead around, kind of pushing the bulk of that paint, pushing around the bead, pushing around the bead, trying to keep it nice and even. So keep pushing around, little extra bead. I'm going to clean off my brush and kind of soak up the extra. This is kind of like lifting. I'm taking out some extra paint. There's no new paint on my brush. Cleaning my brush. Pulling out again some of that wash so that the paper can act as a highlight. And you can see I have made a new bead by re-wetting it, so I push that around. So I've got my light areas, and generally speaking, my light is from the left. Now I'm going to add another wash, add some more darkness. I usually keep the receding edges, the sort of sides, darker. I'm adding in just some mixtures of darker colors, so it's a slightly different tone than my first wash. Fussing around. I don't really do this scientifically. I just, play it by ear. So I'm going to go in and try to make the part that is going away from the eye darker. That's going to make the legs feel more round. It's going to make it feel like it has more dimension and shadow. And it's a way of thinking about it when you don't have a reference to copy the shadows from. So I'm just thinking, okay, this is further away from the eye, and if it's further away from the eye, then it's going to be darker. I try not to get it too perfect, and then once I lay it in, I clean my brush, and I'm going to soften those hard edges with a clean, damp brush. If the brush disappears off screen for too long, I am probably licking it and pulling it back into a point with my mouth, which is gross. I know, but it's what I do. Sorry. So, alright. Looking around. I think I want to pick up a little bit more blue, build up some more darkness. Actually, no, I'm going to move to the shirt because the pants are still really, really wet. And with watercolor, there's a point where it's just too wet to do anything else. So I'm going to find some shadows on the shirt because the paper up there is dry. And so again, I'm finding the areas that are going away from the body. And I drew some wrinkle lines, so I'm going to follow those wrinkle lines with some shadow, because why not? See right there, this little wrinkle under the thing. I want this shirt to be relatively light, so I don't feel the need to cover the whole thing with a wash. I'm just going to do the shadows. Once again, I'm going to clean my brush, and with that damp, clean brush, soften the edges and pull them out. Paper getting too wet is a real concern with watercolor. One of the reasons I have you doing 2 renderings instead of 1 is because sometimes the whole piece of paper is too wet. So you can just move to the other one and come back. That way it's got time to dry. Darkening up some of the other shadowy spots so we've got some more depth. But it's a little bit at a time. I like lots of thin, clear layers rather than going in super dark. I'm feeling the pants. I think they're almost dry enough to work on, so I'm going to add some more shadow to the pants. Picking up some paint, mixing some colors off the camera. Sorry. Checking them. I think my brush is too wet, so using that paper towel. Keep a stack of paper towels handy, because you're going to need them. So, again, I'm just building up darkness. I'm thinking the creases and the things furthest from the eye are going to be the darkest. So I just keep building up darkness, following along the leg, and by doing the little breaks, by going into a wrinkle or going away from a smooth line, that again helps trick the eye into making it feel a little bit more natural. I often will put a shadow underneath the calf because we talked about that ball-shaped calf. So I'm finding that shadow. You can also see the slight curve on the shin. So here I had some dark blue bleed, so I'm kind of going in when I'm softening. I'm cleaning it up so that the thigh highlight stays nice and clean. Softening my shadows, getting rid of extra paint. I'm going to go back to the shirt because the pants are pretty wet. So I'm going back to the shirt. And alright. Down here, we definitely have some of the darker areas. You've got kind of the back side of the sleeve that we can see, so I'm going to put some shadow there. Right in the wrinkles, but I don't want the shirt to get too dark because I'm keeping this shirt relatively light. Once again, finding those shadows. If a body part is partially covering another body part, you want to put shadow on the one that's behind so that the highlight of the part that's in front comes forward. So you can see that both on the back sleeve and also on the leg, where I am still trying. I'm pointing at my monitor as I record this narration, like you can see me pointing. Maybe I can add a point. We'll figure it out. So again, building up shadows a little bit at a time. It's not a race. Okay, I'm going to pick up some more dark blue because I'm going to go back to the jeans. Feeling the jeans, still wet. So let's go to some of the drier areas. When the paper is really wet, the chances are higher that your paint is going to bleed and kind of move places you don't want it to go. So here I'm attaching, dark where the creases are and along the edge. And again, going away from the body, so let's have some shadow there. And once it's on, then go in with clean and damp and just soften some of those hard edges. Some people like to leave the hard edges, and that's a stylistic choice. It's a little more like cell style or anime shading, but I usually soften them, so take that for what it's worth. Oh good, I did move it up when I did this. My legs are wet, my shirt is wet. I picked up some red and I'm just throwing a flat wash of red on the sneakers. They're small, I'm not too worried about it. You see that big bead? I'm sucking it up with the brush so the bead doesn't dry into a dark spot. And some more little fine details on the jeans. Building it up a little bit at a time. Because there's just a little bit of paint on the shoes, I can add a second wash in a slightly darker color to add some shadow pretty quick. I'm not covering the whole wash with the second wash, and I'm just going to use that to add some shade and definition to the rubber part of the sneaker. I've decided that the shirt needs a pattern, so I'm going to pick up some green, because I had green on my palette, and I'm going to add a little stripe, and I'm curving it to kind of follow the imagined lines of the body. And let's do the sleeves and the collar too. And so I'm just gonna, and because I laid in those shadows with the brown earlier, I get to take benefit from them with the green. Cleaning off my brush. And a little darker green when we sort of see the back of the sleeve, the inside back of the sleeve around the arm. And a little shadow where the collar and the sleeves are the most away from the body, because again, that makes it visually recede from the viewer's eye. Last thing she's sort of floating in space. And when figures are floating in space, oh, wait, nope, I'm doing pants. Got ahead of myself. So, with the darkest paint, I'm just going to go in and get a couple of those little fine creases. Creases live at points of stress, so ankles, knees, crotch, or we're going to see most of those wrinkles. So I'm just going in, and I'm also going to darken the joint between the shirt and the pants, so we've got a little shadow under the shirt. There's the pocket and the fly. Soften edges. It bled into the other thigh, so clean it up. Lift that darkness out. Soften edges again. Some fine last details on the shirt. A couple little darkish shadows. I'm sort of painting in a shoulder seam. Okay, now I'm going to add the base, so she's not floating in space. There's a couple different ways to do this. With watercolor, I usually just paint a little shadow around their feet. I keep the top of the shadow flat, so it's like an imaginary ground line, an imaginary horizon line. And then I paint some dark little shadows, and you can just leave them, or you can feather them out with water. But now, instead of floating in space, she's standing on the ground. So that's a quick color.